Well, one of the big concerns across India when it comes to electric vehicles is the infrastructure which exists in the country. And there are huge strides which really do need to be taken. But this is a company, Statiq, which is India's largest EV charging network. Very privileged to be joined by Akshit Bansal. He's the founder and CEO. Thanks very much for speaking to us. So it's all about infrastructure, right? And it's all about building up for the future. What is some of the technology that you have developed and you've now sold across the India?
Okay, so what we do is we make chargers and we make the IoT layer behind it to manage these chargers. So we build the entire tech ecosystem behind EV charging, which is the hardware that is EV chargers and the entire software layer behind it.
And what about the interface itself? Is it common to all vehicles?
Yeah. Most of them it's common. It depends on the platform. If it's a four-wheeler, it's common, varies across.
Come. And so, you've got a typical EV charger over here. Now, the big question that's often asked is the speed and the rate. Now, that depends on the car as much as the capability of your chargers, right?
Correct. So, the rate of charging depends on both the battery in the vehicle and also the charger. Right. So, we have built chargers that are up to 120 kilowatt. So, an average time would be 20 to 30 minutes to charge a vehicle as well, on a faster journey.
And where have you installed the 7,000 odd chargers across the country? How do you pick a place?
Correct. So, we have installed it across 60 cities in India. And what we do is we pick residential societies, offices and highways. So, we want people to find chargers wherever they go.
And so you buy land over there and install it, or lease land and install it over there based on your survey of how many people are using EVs, right?
Correct. So we lease.
So that must be a big challenge also. I mean, locating the right place.
Correct. So we lease land. We do not buy land. And what we do is we do revenue share with someone who's leasing their land, so that they can also earn whenever charging happens there. And that's a big challenge. But we use AI to find and develop heat maps.
Now, you are a very young entrepreneur, visibly young, much younger than me. But be that as it may, how did you get into this?
Correct. So while I was in college,
What were you studying?
Electrical engineering. I am an electrical engineer. And while I was in college, we were building solar vehicle there. And that is how my passion towards this started. After college, I went to work with a consultancy firm, a Big Four. But soon enough, I realized that there's a lot of pollution problem that we need to solve for, and someone has to step up for it.
Right. And then you got into this. What about funding the startup itself? Was that a big challenge?
Correct.
Nightmares?
Yeah. So my family is service-based. I'm the first entrepreneur in the family. So starting this with my own saved capital, and I went on to have zero money in the bank. But now we got funded by some of the biggest companies in the world, like Shell, the oil company. They funded us $26 million 6 months back. So now I think we're doing well.
And what are your expansion plans?
Today we are in around 8 states in the country. We plan to expand this to pan-India. And in the next 1.5 years, we want to go up to 30,000 chargers.
Right. And the size of the chargers, are they necessarily as big as this, or does it depend on the application?
No, it depends. This is a charger where you can also advertise.
Right, so there's revenue earning for you that comes in as well.
Correct.
Right.
So there's alternate source of revenue earning as well, but we have a range of chargers which can be wall mounted as well. So it depends on what your application is, and we have a charger for it.
And give me a couple of ideas. You have an app that you wanted to show me also. Can you show me your app? So what is the function? What does the app actually do?
So this is an app where you can find nearby chargers. You can see if they are available or not. The nearest charger now is 900 meters away. You can go there, plug in your car, start charging, and you can pay through the app as well. And that is it.
And how do you pay? I mean, what are the rates?
The rate actually depends from location to location, but usually it is like 17 rupees per unit of energy that you consume.
And typically a car would consume how many units? Say a medium-sized EV would consume for a full charge?
It'll take somewhere around 500 rupees to full charge an average EV in India.
Right.
And it'll run for 300 kilometers.
So 500 rupees as opposed to several thousand rupees, more than 2,500 up to 3,000 or more for the average. So that's a huge saving for consumers across the country. Now this is absolutely sensational. Is the technology changing also over a period of time? I know batteries are evolving, capacity of batteries is going up. The different lithium ion is now, of course, being much more accepted. How is that affecting you and your technology?
Correct. So definitely the market is really, really dynamic and there are a lot of technologies coming in. But it's more on the battery side and the charging ecosystem still remains intact and same. And anyways, we are evolving with every evolving technology. So we're building that, we control the technology.
Well, there you have it, a young entrepreneur, Akshit, but just look at the dream that he had. He was an engineer. He decided that he needed to move away from one of the big four where he was working, and he had a vision, an idea of fueling India's infrastructure. And he's doing this with these chargers. They are India's largest EV charging network. And this is something that India will see a lot more of going forward.